Alright, so what's up, folks? Today is June. Where's okay, that's on full screen. It's June the 7th. June the 7th, 2024. And I came on earlier, I did a little bit of coding, but I did it with it was on mute and everything and wasn't up to much. I made this code here and I adjusted some of the parameters of it. Initially it had some pretty decent entries, some signals, and then I went and modified it a bit more. The more I modified it, the worse it got. So what I want to do now is, I think the other day when I came on, I actually ended up doing a different type of coding than what I had set out to do. So what I wanted to do that day was, I had an idea for a script to make, and I didn't make it, and I hadn't made it since. So what I'm going to do now is see if I can pull it back up, and I hadn't looked at this since last week, so hopefully I remember. I've made myself notes, so hopefully I've got enough notes to actually do what I set out to do. Alright, so let's see. Alright, yep. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's make it larger. And that's not large. Let's see. Let's do this for you. I don't know if that's making it better or worse. There we go. Okay. All right, so in the meanwhile, I'm going to connect my tablet so I can show you, well, and I need to be able to see it too, what I was actually attempting to code. So here it is. Alright, so this is what I was wanting to code for. And again, this is specific to the other day. However, it looked like there was enough going on that I've seen it happen other times. So I usually write out more rules than this. So you see here are the rules. Here and here. So I want to have a drop with a retrace. Trend line. I gotta make myself better notes in this. Retouch. Retrace has higher than V6 volume. Retouch or the retrace. So it's gonna be a drop. I got that. Oh, I think I know what I was kind of doing. Alright. I think I got it. Alright, so let me see if I can kind of duplicate this. I'm gonna put this on my side screen. Come over here, open up the development environment. Let's put this on the, well, it was the 5-minute time frame, so we'll leave it there, but we're on the Discord alert, so I don't want to mess with that. We're gonna put on random scripts and then put on the 5-minute time frame. Actually, let's see. Alright, the house is wide open tonight. Alright, so let's do this. Apps. I got a regular house, guys. I'm just a regular person. Regular person, just like everybody else. Apps, chart analysis. On 5 minute. Okay, it's already on 5 minute time frame. Open it up larger, and then we're going to take this. Why do I have another window? How many windows do I have? 2. All right. This is under Untitled Workspace. 5 minute time frame. Open up the development environment. Put this here, that there. I'm gonna have a new indicator. ES 06 07 24 V2. This is the second script of the day. All right, so first thing I said is I want to have a drop. So how do we define a drop? We're going to define a drop as a move lower than a previous swing low. So let's say, coding for a program established on, I don't even know what day I did this on. Yeah, I need to put better dates. I know it was last week, so we'll say the first 6/01/24. Okay, all right. So looking for drop below prior. Oop. You know what? I'm not going to get too concerned about these typos. Establish at lows of swing points. Trend line break below that with rejection. Okay, and that rejection has high volume. Rejection has high volume. Okay, and rejection has high volume. And then we get a low volume candle. Low volume, low volume, low volume, low volume, high. Higher. High. Okay, so variable. Let's just make a few conditions. Okay, and then we'll say swing low. Swing low is equal to swing low. Expression, instance, price, strength, length. If swing low is greater than 0 and swing low is different than swing low a bar ago, then plot 1. I'm going to plot it blue at the low. Okay, no errors. Good. Off to a good start. All right, 0607 V24. Style, cross, that size. I got a lot of those. Got a lot of those. We shouldn't have too many of those. Okay. Now, this is one thing that I learned, which I was surprised to learn. And I've even said it on here before. I know I have. I've said it on here that you can't draw, you can't plot on your chart at a time frame prior than the current time. And that's false. You can. So again, the idea is that when this bar happens, you can plot this bar. You can't plot this bar after it's already happened, but you can. I know that you can go back and, like with drawing objects, you can reference a time point or bar, a date time. You can reference object starting points prior to different times. You can kind of set those, but I didn't realize you could do it with plots. I didn't realize you could do it with indicators, but you can, right? So watch this. And I actually figured this out. I was reviewing somebody's code. I think it was it Carlos? I think it was Carlos on Discord. I think I was reviewing one of his codes, and I'm not sure if he referenced a prior bar to plot the paint, or if the way he wrote it gave me an idea that you could do that. So, but either way, that was a big light bulb moment for me. And so this is how you do it, right? So we're going to get rid of this one. All right, so these blue plots this is referencing this swing low, right? So it's referencing 1, 2, 3 bars ago, swing low. This one is referencing 1, 2, 3 bars ago, swing low. Okay, so I would not show this as indicated on the chart, because I couldn't get it to show up here other than me drawing an object right here or something like that. And I know in the past I've got other indicators where I actually I drew a trend line. I had a trend line drawn like from here to say here, and I wanted to identify this point here. So to identify that point, I would draw an ellipse. So I went through a complicated code of an object to draw an ellipse here, which is essentially a circle. And so my code would look like that. And then when I zoom out, it would look like that. And then when I zoom in, it will be bigger. It's all kinds of complicated. But you see here, if you want it to reference 1, 2, 3 bars ago, all you have to do is when you at the plot, and I haven't done this since I looked at it, but I believe it was, you put it here, 3 bars ago. Nope, that is not it. Well, then you put it here, 3 bars ago. All right. Okay, and now you see this cross showed up on this bar. It showed up 3 bars ago. But so now, where is it referencing though? It's not referencing the low of 3 bars ago. It's referencing the low of the bar at which we were on, that current bar. So in order to reference the low of 3 bars ago, we got to put a low of 3 bars ago. Boom. Okay. So that's how you do that. And like I said, that was new for me to learn. So that's kind of cool. Not really sure what I'll do with it, but it's also very deceptive. It's not deceptive. I mean, it is what it is, but it made me realize, like, when I have these alerts going to Discord and that kind of thing, I have it going to Discord because I've come up with an elaborate algorithm, an elaborate program, right? Not because I use like a look back, or I use historical information. Not because I kind of cheated and came up with this, right? So my codes that work, they work, and the ones that don't, they don't. And not all of them work on the same day. So what I had for today was, I think they did okay today. Yeah, that wasn't today. All right, so this was B beta on one day, and it, I mean, just really pushed up. What day was that? 31st? Yeah. B beta isn't always like that. All right, so B beta here, it was telling you to get in here, but I'm seeing more and more often though that B beta, you almost need to break a high, right? So B beta said to get in here at the close of this bar. And if you had got in here, you probably would have had your stop loss down here or down here. You know, I don't know, right? But from here, it went up. It made a nice move, so that's great. But here, if you had done the same play, if you had got in here, set your stop loss here, you would have got stopped out. However, we do know that when you're getting ready to make a move up, and B beta is like a reversal or a pullback type of a program, that you do want to make a new high, right? So here, if we're saying that this is the high that we need to break, this candle from here to here is a long ways. So you got the next candle, this long ways. Then you got the next candle here. So, but now you do have a different trending candle, right? They were trending bearish. Now that candle's trending bullish. But so now when you break that high, now do you take that entry? You know, maybe. It would be the same thing here. It's like, all right, well, it comes down. Do you wait to the break of this, or do you get in right away? Well, now we have a doji candle, and then you get in at the break of this high, the doji. And I don't know what this candle did, if it broke here and then chopped all the way down and then went back up. Yeah, I mean, I could look at the other time frame. I doubt it did that much chopping, but it's possible. All right, what time is this? 13:15. So that's B beta, and then I have another one that's that tends to do pretty well, which is the high probability long here. And usually, once the high probability longs fire off, I don't want to say they've been 100%, but they've been hitting pretty good. So, all right, and then the only other signal that I got today was a scalp short. Now, what is this? This is another day. Okay, I was like, there's a lot of scalp shorts there, but on today, I only got this one scalp short. And I mean, from there, I mean, it robbed the bank. I mean, that thing completely dropped. So let me get back on track. We're on the we're here. Okay. All right, so now that we've identified our swing lows, we need to say that we got a break below the swing low. And like I said, we're really looking at what day? Was this the day? Like I said, I should have labeled it. I feel like this was the day. Five-minute time frame, that is not representative of what I'm looking at. Let's see, at 12:15, stock dropped. Stock dropped. $12.15. Is this it? Nope. That's not it either. It does say there was news at looks like 10 o'clock on that day. Man! Alright, I gotta figure something out here to get to the right one. Here we go. 528. $5.28. Well, that's today. That's this day. Yeah, this is it. Nah, that's that one of them, but that's not it. That's well, if that one was 528, then this one has to be after. $115, the stock was turning around. Looks similar to this one. Nope. There we go. All right, 6.3. Okay. All right. So we do have the identification there of a swing low with 3 bars on either side. Is here. So now we want to find. Once that's true, then we're gonna say, all right. Well, let's pay attention. So we didn't get 2. So technically, according to our schematics, we want to get 2. We want to get 1 here and 1 here. And then draw a trend line and wait for the break. Look for the break. All right, so if we do, instead of 3 bars on either side, let's go with 2 bars on either side. All right, boom, we got that. So now we're going to draw a trend line from one to the other. So we're going to, using EL system and using EL system dot drawing, and using EL system drawing objects. Okay, and then we need a trend line object, which should be trend line null. Okay, and then at the beginning, just bring it onto the screen. We're going to say once trend line equals new trend line. Okay, and then so let's say we've got to, if we get a long drop, we're going to restart our looking for the trend line. Why do we have this one in here? What is this? This is not a swing low. This is not a swing low. This is not, oh, okay, because we had it on 3 bars back. Now we gotta go 2 bars back. Okay. Okay, where are we at? All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so if bear and range is greater than range 7 times 2, then and low is less than low of a bar ago, which just says that we got a long bearish bar that's dropped significant, or that's dropped below the bar before it. Then condition 1 is equal to true. So we'll just leave it set at true. Okay. If condition 1 equals true, and if condition 1 equals true, and SL is greater than 0, and SL is different from swing low of a bar ago, then condition 2 equals true. But now that's going to happen right here. 1, 2. That's going to happen right here. Okay. Condition 2 equals true. And we can go ahead and reset condition 1 also. Then begin condition 2 equal to true. Condition 1 equals false. And all right, so now, oh, and we gotta count how many conditions we have. Count plus count equals 1. Yeah, so we're gonna start the count at 1, and if we get that long bear, not only is condition 1 equal true, but also count equals 0. Okay, and we gotta bring count up here. All right. So now we have a count. So we have a count, and we have our points. So now, if count equals 2, then so now if we had this long bearish drop, and now we get a swing low, first one, great. If we get a swing low, second one, then on our second one, that's when we're going to draw our trend line. So if count equals 2, then begin trend line equals trend line dot create. Need the first bar number point dot create. It's going to be bar number plus max bars back minus 1. So for the we gotta count the span also. And we didn't get our second count anyway. Okay. Count equals 1. Count equals 2. then we just begin this. Oh, be gum with yourself. All right, we didn't even need that. We got to begin here. Okay, so then begin, and also we got to do span equals 1. Okay, so yeah, if we come down here and span is equal to 1, then it's just going to be equal to 1 here. But then at the top, we will plus equals 1 to span. So we're counting span on every bar. So we need to count the span between the two bars, right? So span is equal to 1 if it's equal to 1. So if span is greater than or equal to 1, then span plus equal to 1. All right. And this will reset span as equal to 1 if we have a first data point. And so now we have our distance, between when we're creating the trend line and the first, let's see, -2 minus span. All right, and then that's going to be the low of how many bars ago? 2 plus span. And then we got another bn point create. That's the current bar, which will be bar number plus max bars back -1 -2, and we're going to be using the low of how many bars ago? 2 bars ago, because our 2 is how many bars we're using for the swing point. All right, now close that BM point, close that trend line create. In that statement, that's our trend line created. So now we need to add it to the chart. Okay, and once we add it to the chart, we need to reset span. It's equal to 0. My head says that all makes sense. Let's verify. Issues. I know this isn't going to be my only issue. If so, that is awesome. God, that boy is getting good. Except for I have no distance on my trend lines. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay. Looks like my span is not counting because I'm getting the lines drawn, but I don't have the distance. This distance should be from here to here. It actually looks like it's trying to draw the line once we get one. It's drawing the line from here, but it's drawing it to here. So we're not getting the span. If those are true, then again condition 2 is equal to true. Count equals 1. Which count isn't even really doing anything anymore. I see why now. because this criteria here, so we do need to do count it, or we could say count of a bar ago is equal to 1, because this same bar we just assigned count to be equal to 1. So we don't want to then turn around and assume that the same bar is also count 2. No, we have to say and the last bar. Dang it. And count of a bar ago was equal to 1. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you see, we got a line there. We got one line. I'm thinking we're not getting any more lines because I believe that our criteria is resetting because we have a long range bearish candle here. But I'm gonna say that in order for it to reset, I'm gonna say the long range bearish candle has to have volume that's greater than the 6-period moving average of the volume. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. All right. So ticks is greater than V6. Bam. Ah, it didn't like it. I mean, that wasn't it. I feel like that was good. I feel like that was good. Yeah, why is span not counting? Or it reset to 0. Oh, I think I got to do the same thing. The same thing I was talking about here with count of last bar. Looks like I might need to do that with count with condition 2. Yes. Condition 2 of a bar ago. All right. That looks okay. This we got to do better. If bear in range is greater than range 7 times 2, and lowest S and lower bar. Yeah, I think. I think this is getting reset. Come on, put your and in there, buddy. All right, let's go back up to the top. Run from top. New trend line. Span greater than or equal to 1. The span is plus or equal to 1. Yes. If swing low is greater than 0, and swing low is different from the swing low of bar go, then we're going to plot 2. It's fine that we plot that. We don't have to plot it, but go. If bear we've got a bearish candle, and the range is greater than the range of 7 times 2, and the ticks is greater than V6, 6-period average, and the low is lower than the low of bar go, then began count equals 0. Con 1 equals true. And if con 1 is equal to true, I know one thing that we need to do is, because we're doing con 1 is equal to true. Okay, when does con 1 okay, next line, con 1 is equal to false. If condition 1 is equal to true, and so it just means any bar, and swing low is greater than 0 and different from a bar go, then begin condition 2 is equal to true, because we have our we have our start point, and we're also going to say that count is equal to 1. Okay. Count is equal to 1. Yeah, I see a problem right now, because we haven't told count to be equal to 0 at any point. All right, so count is equal to 1. Span is equal to 1. Condition 1 shuts off as being false. And condition 2 of a bar go is equal to true, and count of a bar go is equal to 1. So it's always going to be 1 at this point. And we have a new swing low, then begin. We're going to draw a trend to that. Okay, we need to reset count equal to 0. Okay, yeah, we did it up here. Yeah, just said it. We did it up here. Condition 1 is equal to true. And all right. I mean, this is what it takes, but I don't always like doing this. I like to kind of mentally go through it and see if I can figure it out mentally without having these without doing these plots. But it looks like I need to do the plots. All right, so we're going to plot low. We're going to plot black. All right, and this is just going to tell us where we have these large bars right here that's supposed to reset the criteria. See, this one didn't reset it. This one did. Well, then that makes sense. If this one reset it, then that's why we got the trend line here. And technically, that's what I was looking for, right? Because I said that this one didn't really qualify. This one does qualify, but I did want this one to show up, and, excuse me, and then it just so happened that the break below the trend line wasn't significant enough, right? We didn't have a new higher high, we didn't have higher volume on the candle break, so there was reasons why this initial signal did not give a entry signal. But this one here does give both. But I bet it's the range. The range being greater than the being 2 times the range of the 7-period moving average of the candles. I bet it's that. All right, this guy here, this range here is greater than the range 7, but it's not 2 times. So let's just say this got to be greater than the range. There we go. All right. But so when we get that, these reset it also. These black, this one resets it. This one resets it. Let's say that the body has to. So it's a long, full body that's larger, not, you know, tick, wicks and stuff like that. All right, good. So now we got what we're looking for. All right, funky looking candle here. I mean, trend line here. This is on the wrong bar, so that first point, -2, -1, -1, -2, minus span. I think it should be saying span of a bar ago. Oh, no. Well, yes, and span of a bar ago. Yeah, see how this line got much better? All of them got better, actually. Okay, all right, so that's the level that we want to see broken. We want to see this level broken, this level broken, and once this breaks, then we want to see, on that break, we want to see the high rejection. Okay, so moving on along. Now, what did I have to do to fix that? Oh yeah, it was just based on the exit criteria of the condition for the long bear not resetting. All right, so we're good. All right, so now we're looking for this break candle. So when the low, now that this formed, it effectively formed like on this bar, it effectively formed. So if this low is less than the value of the trend line, what does the volume look like? Is the volume greater than the 6-period moving average of the volume? Does the candle also have a higher high than the bar before it, which this one does also? It's just not a trend bar, it's not a bullish bar. So this, yeah, so this was a tricky one. This was a tricky one, my friend, because it gave similar, well, this bar didn't give a higher high. The following bar did. And this bar is also 2 times the volume of the bar before it. So let's try something like that. Let's try something like, we're gonna say if low is less than trend line dot, I thought it was value. Trendline.get value. My guy. Bar date time, so bar date time. And then it's just going to give us the bar date time of that current bar. So if low is less than the trend line of the bar date time and ticks is greater than ticks of a bar ago times 2 and ticks is greater than V6, then plot 5 low. We're going to make it black, low, black, and we're going to make it default size 6. Largest size. All right, let's go. But style, you can't change the style. As far as I know, you can't change the style from within the. We're gonna take a look at that here, because I'm gonna learn something. Boom! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! All right, so that's telling us that this is the entry. Now this one. This one is not the entry. Because this bar has to, I really want it to wick below it. Either a down up candle. Oh, and I think I may have made mention of that on here. I did say B must wick below, right? So not just be below it, must wick below it. So we're gonna have a long candle. Let's see what I do here. Direction change, cross 50% mark. Making this a reversal. Okay. All right, well. All right, so need to say that we could just say that the low is lower than the trend line and the high is above it. Low is less than, well, we already said the low is less than, so we just need to say and high is greater than. Now we're avoiding saying that it has a long wick. So I'm just trying to think, because what if the candle started off, it can't start off down here. What if the candle, what if this candle started off down here and then just went up? I guess that would almost be valid too if it going up, if it has a higher high than the one before it. Yeah, so I could put something like, I could put like this, or I could say, so we could say if the low, if, let's do this. Condition 3 is equal to, so we say if low is less than the bar date time and high is greater than TL bar date time, or low is less than TL dot get. I'm just going to copy that. Bar date time. And high is greater than high of a bar ago. Which means that it's getting some aggression in its movement. So then condition 3 is equal to true, else condition 3 equals false. Okay, now we got to put condition 3 up here. And if condition 3, bam, bam, and bam. All right, there we go. All right, so that is it. All right, is this after hours? Yes, it is. Okay, so we do need to put if Eric's market. one day I'm going to decide to mess with the pre-market hours. All right, so we got that great. This is actually all I coded for. Again, like when I look and do technical analysis on days like this, when I try to identify how we get the best, you know, we have all these metrics or the technical components for getting the very best of the move, getting the best entry. It usually only works for 1 point. And if it works for other days, that's great. That's icing on the cake, but that's not how I design it. Oh man, it worked great on this day right here. Ah, didn't work bad on this day either. Okay. 1, 2, 3 days. Or 3 entries. This one was a no-go. This one worked on. That one looks like that's a no-go. This is definitely a no-go. This one would have worked. That one not. So let's see. We zoom in here. I don't even know. Okay, well, if this drew this line here, then this one should not qualify. It should have to be a bar after. What? Yeah, this can't even qualify. That one can't qualify, and then this guy right here, I get it. This one dropped below this line. And so that's why this one fired, but why? Because it did have a low lower and it had a high higher. And the volume was much higher. Yep. All right. But it should have also reset, because this long bar with high volume should have automatically told it to cancel the contract, right? It should have told it to cancel here. So we need to move that down lower. I mean, that's not that, is it? Okay, no. Right, so you see here, we got that yellow. That yellow should be canceling this as being a entry. But no, it cancels it first, higher in the code, and then it comes back down here and is like, yeah, but we haven't got to the next bar yet. So since we're still on this bar, go ahead and take that entry. Count got reset to being 0 there, and then we set count to being equal to 1. Okay, maybe in order to do this we have to say that count is equal to 2. Con1 equals true. Yeah, Yeah, these get values are just kind of out here in the wild west, all by themselves. So we have to say if count is equal to 1, then begin. End. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm sure we got rid of some stuff, but did we get rid of the right ones? That one's good. That one's great. That's the one that we coded for, right? That one's great. That one I can deal with. Oh man, I think we got another banger. I think we got another banger. All right. All right, so that's all I'm going to code for today. And I'm going to put this in the alerts. Yeah, look at that. That's a good one. I'm going to put this in the alerts for a while. And I'm just going to see how well it does. Okay, so I want to see how well it does. So this will be one that goes in the Discord alerts. Kind of like my high probability long. Probability. Yeah. Okay. Let's add an alert to it. I'm gonna call it deep reversal. So, and again, putting the crosses and everything like that, that can kind of get things a little bit confusing at times. So I found that just putting words here gives me a better indication of like what the script was, what it's doing, what to expect from it. So I need to just make this a little bit more clear. And we will add a text label. Begin. Alert. That. Don't really need that right now. So, text label equals text label dot create I think we need the bar date and time. Begin point dot create and bar number plus max bars back minus 1, and then we'll say deep reversal. That goes that goes that. This needs to be at the low, and then close that, comma there, and then we'll do drawing objects dot add txl. Okay, and then we need to go up here and bring it onto the chart text label or declare it. And then add that to our once statement as well. All right. End. What do you want to end? End. Why do I feel like that's not lining up? That's not lining up. There we go. All right. Okay, see? Deep reversal. And it's not locked. So we need to lock it. Lock that, Marco. All right. lock it. Okay, and now we'll just get rid of this plot. Okay, now we got our deep reversals. Now we're going to get rid of all those blues. Okay, get rid of all the trend lines. We don't need the trend lines to be drawn. We don't need the trend lines to be visible. That's drawing a whole lot of trend lines. So actually, let's only do these trend lines if we're within Eric's market as well. Okay, a little bit more helpful. Let's get rid of the yellow. Leave out the yellow, and like I said, need to get rid of those lines. So I could make the lines clear, or because if I get rid of them, then I can't get the value for them. And if I don't add them to the, like if I get rid of adding them right there, if I don't add them to the chart, then I can't use them to calculate. All right, see now I got no deep reversals coming up at all. Okay, so that won't work. So let's, first of all, let's get rid of the labels, the 0.016, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna do TRL dot, I think it's show label. Show labels equals false. Okay, so we get rid of the labels. All right, and now we're just going to make the trend line clear. So whereas you see the trend line here, that one isn't as good as I'd like for it to be. All right. Equals color dot from ARGB. It's going to be 0. That means it's completely transparent. 0, and then you can do whatever. I think that gives us the color of white, but it's clear. So, well, yeah. All right, and this line I drew, and this line I drew. Okay, all right, so there's your deep reversal. There's your deep reversal. Now we have a much cleaner chart, right? Deep reversal, deep reversal. I'll go for those. Those aren't as much of a reversal, but I mean, it's a reversal of confirmation, right? So there you go. All right, I'll go for that. And like I said, I mean, I'll have it on the Discord alert type deal, and I'll just kind of monitor it. And if it's really starting to fail or something like that, then I'll either have to come in and make some modifications to it, or I will have to scrap it all together. Okay. All right, so let's add that to the chart. That was 0607 V2 for the 5-minute time frame. Let's go here. And one of the things that I do, I will make that adjustment here in just a second. But to make sure that it only shows up for the 5-minute time frame, that's kind of important too. And what I've done before is, you know, just kind of messing around on here. I I maybe change this to the 2-minute time frame while I was looking at something else. I try not to change it. I've got these labels here. I try not to change it, but if I do change it, then I'll mess around and not change it back, and I'll be in a whole world of trouble because now I'm taking an entry on something that's based on another time frame. All right, so I don't think I realized that it gave a deep reversal right here. Okay. Deep reversal right here. I guess this is probably, oh yeah, I can already see it there now. So this is the line, right? This is the line from here to here, and it would essentially go through here, and this broke through it and gave a wick at the bottom, and so that was saying to go long, which it did here shortly thereafter. And I mean, gosh, man, all of these indicators kind of showed up in this general cluster here: the high probability long, the B beta, and the deep reversal. So yeah, I know that high probability long is based on a different is based on different conditions. It's based on these boxes and then the price coming over and tapping back down into it, moving up. I don't remember what the B beta is based off of. Since it fired right off in here, I wonder if it's based on a similar concept. However, I don't know. I think that's valid. I mean, you know, that was a nice bottom wick on that thing. Like I said, not everything is going to be 100%. And if it looks, you know, a lot of times I hear about trading, if it looks close enough, then it's probably worth taking. So I won't try to filter that out. Okay, we did get the deep reversal on here, so that's okay. High probability long, deep reversal. I don't recall it coming up in here, or maybe it did come up. I just, with that marker being so large, maybe I thought that it was in a better place. This is kind of high. Where is... Where's the trend line that is crossing? I spoke too soon. It was not ready for prime time. I mean, but it's close. It is close. See, B beta worked. High probability long worked. B beta worked. Deep reversal is not doing what it's supposed to. The main thing is it worked where I wanted it to work at. Now that was on 6.3, I think. Yeah, see that one. All these work pretty well, actually. This one, okay, so this one didn't work in here, but again, the most of them work really well, so I'm not going to get bent out of shape out of one or two. However, this trend line, it's got to be going up. In order for it to be broken here, it's got to be going up. And we might just need to code for trend lines that are descending, that are going down, which is typically true, right? Because if you have like a wedge going up, or if you have a channel going up, when it breaks to the bottom side, it's typically going to break on down, and you're looking at a downtrend. Whereas what I'm looking at is a channel or a movement that's going down, and then it just whoop, wicks down and pops back up, and you're taking that entry on the long side as an exhausted trend. So I don't think we want trends to be going up, but let's take this color out of here. Let's give it color again and see which one that was. All right, here is our line. Okay, so this is the line. Why is this one firing off as a deep reversal? Because this candle is not even crossing the line. The candle has to cross the line. All right, so I think it messed up, or when I did the OR statement here, I said that the low has to be less than the trend line value, and the high has to be greater than the trend line value, or the low has to be less than the trend line value, and the high is greater than the high of a bar ago. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that's an easy fix, because that's exactly what this did. You know, yeah. No, it didn't. The low is less than the value of the trend line, and the high is greater than the high of bar ago. So the high is greater than the high of a bar ago, but the low is not less than the value of the trend line. Unless for some reason we're saying that the value of the trend line here is 0. Nope, low is still not lower. The low is not lower than 0. Alright, so why is this firing? Because this is the only one that's not in good shape right now. And this looks like an easy one. Let me turn the plot back on because some of the typically this is going to start right here at this bar, right here at the midpoint. Some of the times they can seem like they're a little bit off, and this one is actually talking about this one, or this one is talking about this one. So let's just make sure that we are talking about the right one. That is deep reversal, deep reversal, deep reversal here. Let's plot that. Okay. Give it back to me. Style is across that. Yeah, so it is talking about this one. The low is less than the trend line, and the high well, that doesn't make any sense, Eric. Just for kicks and giggles, let's say that condition 3 has got to be equal to true. Okay, all right. The low is less than the trend line. of that same bar date time. And the high is greater than the high. Let's make sure that they don't have the same time. No, they don't. Okay. The condition 3 is equal to true. That's condition 3 is equal to false. Or there's something wrong with the or statement. So put this down here. We're going to put this right here. And so we're just going to let only this one qualify as being ready to go. Then we got the low lower than the trend line and the high greater than the trend line. So we're going to get rid of the or that. Okay, so when we get rid of that, then that one does not fire. So for some reason, this one firing is because it's saying that this is true. And we know that this part is true, that the high is greater than the high of a bar go, that the high is greater than the high of this bar. But the low being less than the value of the trend line, can't see that as being true. Yeah. It's not. All right, so one more thing. Let's do this. Let's kind of debug this. So we're going to say if the time is equal to 10:05 on this date, 6/4/24. If the time is 10:05, what is the value of the trend line? Okay, so if t is equal to 124.0604 and and time is equal to 10:05, then print trl.get value bar date time dot to string. Okay, this is date. $54.51. Why is the trend line registering that the price here is $54.51? You know what? I know what it is. I know what it is. Trend lines are tricky. I'm almost thinking about just deleting them off of the chart once this first condition is met. Once we have an initial start here, we kind of need to yeah. Yeah, the low is less than the value, right? Because there's probably a trend line on here somewhere, back over here somewhere. The last trend line on the chart will keep drawing a line, and as long as that line is on the chart, it's probably up here somewhere. As long as that line is on the chart and this line hasn't yet been created, then all these values will still keep registering based off this line up here. Now this line won't actually get created until we have what? 2 points. 1, 2 bars. So once we got 2 bars, this bar closes. Now this line is created once this once this time happens. So until this time happens, this bar isn't even created. This trend line isn't even created. So what are we using to reference the trend line? We're using the current trend line on the chart, which is this one, which is based off of something back here. And because this is pre-market hours, is based on something from the prior day. All right, so yeah, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. You see this trend line back here? This is the one that is referencing. It's referencing this trend line here, which just like shoots up into the sky, right? So it's going to give you some value of 50, whatever that value, 54, 51, way up there. And then we don't get any other significant bearish candles, which this one might could qualify, or this one might could qualify, but we don't get any bearish candles to turn the conditions off, which, yeah. Let's see. So if count is equal to 1, then we can begin. If condition 3 is equal to true and takes that, if condition 3 is equal to true, if count is equal to 1, then begin. So I'd like to say also that if this bear happens, after, yeah. So even after this has been drawn, if this bear happens with a large range of ticks and low is less, then count is equal to 0. Alright, if so that must have just not happened. So I was imagining that it would happen here and then it would shut everything down. But even, yeah, it would shut it down from querying whether or not or where we are on the trend line. So let's take this back off and see. Yeah, so it did say here that the bear should be shutting things down. Right? Begin count. Low. The bear should have shut it down. And it shouldn't fire back up until we get well, that is when it can fire back up, technically. Yeah, that's really just a one-off. So like I said, what I can do for that is just to keep this one out of here for the time being until I come up with some master plan to make sure that I can reincorporate it without that trend line being out of whack like that. Okay, so all right, so we're back on. We're back on. All right, we're back on. Take that out. Take that out. Okay, so we got the high probability longs. All right. the deep reversal down there. We need to change the color back to whatever it was, you know, that clear. And that actually got rid of some of our other deep reversals that we had saw, which is okay. I'd rather have better indicators than more indicators. I mean, technically I'd like to have more indicators because I like to take trades, but I need to do better with having better indicators. Now, where is everything at? Did we have an error when we? Because I'm not seeing anything. Okay, there's deep reversal there. All right, let's do this. Let's zoom out. Okay, so there's a deep reversal there. There's a deep reversal there. Okay, all right. I'm satisfied with that. If we look at this one, it's a clearer chart with not a lot going on. Deep reversal, move up. Deep reversal, move up. Deep reversal. So those are good. So we didn't get as many, and when we took away that other criteria, we lost a few instances. I guess we lost a number of instances, but that's okay. Again, this is just another script on the. You know, I'm trying to put together an arsenal. So this is just one more in the arsenal. All right, so good to go. I'll add this one to the alerts and chat with you later. I guess about to do some Need for Speed racing with the daughter. So y'all have a good night. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.